Alignment. Instability in field. Negative. Charge awaiting matrix field. Positive. Coordinates reached, Commander.
Activate the Sade field.
Activations of multidimensional engines.
Launch communications probe.
Power levels to maximum.
Activate all dimensional levels of communication.
Communication established.
The voice you hear is known as Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. This is the last slave planet in the galaxy. Under all agreements, under all rights, under galactic law, we now proclaim this planet free. The descension of the true human consciousness has begun.
Energizing Shambhala diamonds.
The men, women, and children of this planet are now set free.
Grid fields activated.
You have already reached
Activate Shambhala diamond.
critical mass.
Integration onto microcosm. Expanding linear space.
Prepare for landing. Prepare for landing. Prepare for landing.
Free space activation. Landing. Caution. All crew members to station. This is the Starship Bob. We are landing.
Hi, good evening everybody, and welcome to the darker side of the light side of the city, the Darkcity show. I've got a bit of a crew with us tonight. We've got Sidama, I do believe he's there somewhere in the background. We've not heard him so much, but he was on there from doing Joel Blacker, who is still with us from the astrology show. Joel's show getting tighter every week, I'm sure you'll agree. Good stuff there from Joel now. Not that it wasn't in the first place, but yeah, good stuff from Joel. Sarah's still kicking around. We haven't got Nairis, and we haven't heard from Nairis yet. She's very quiet. Don't know if she's really there. You know Nairis. With all that.
I am here.
Oh, right. I didn't know if the fairy folk had took you away.
No, I phoned in to listen mostly to Sarah's show because I've got no home internet, so I can't listen online. So, yeah, really enjoyed it, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. It's good to have you listening.
So yeah, we seem to be having quite a few problems. We've still got Barry with us as well. We have a few minutes from Barry, just at the end of the show, so Barry's there. And we've got one or two characters from Warner Brothers. I think it's Warner Brothers, is it Warner? Disney, excuse me. We've got a couple of Disney characters kicking around who might be just dropping in a little bit later. So yeah, we'll have to see. We don't know. Again, it's your show, the Dark City specials, Dark City radios and all those lot, where you see the Dark City crew on. We did actually leave this slot open, for special guests, people coming along with it. It hasn't caught on too well. It may do, but we're probably going to let these 2-hour slots we've got, Tuesday and Wednesday, aren't we? We'll probably let them open up as people come along. What was I going to tell you all? I was going to tell you some stuff, and my head's just like, whoa, at the moment. I might have to have one of them baths that Sarah were talking about. Get rid of some junk and make some room for some good stuff. So, what have we got? Where have we been? What are we doing? Well, what I can tell you is, as I am speaking to you, well, as Sarah's show was on actually, DC Bob, our second server, the one we're talking to you through now, is called DC Dan. DC Bob has now been completely software's been redone after we've experimented on which bits work best and which bits don't work best, and that's now being set up as I speak at its new location. So that's a big step for us all here at Dark City. I know perhaps from the listener perspective you might not grasp what that means, but we can now provide people who haven't got decent internet access amongst the crew with decent internet access amongst the crew. So yeah, I'm not going to go into all the ways and the technical ways that it's all been achieved, but that was a big step for us at Dark City, because let's say my internet goes off here at my house, I have a power cut or something like that, and really the other side of it is, what happens if I go off my head one day, get angry at you all, walk in the front room and turn the server off? And I don't think any of us should have that. No one should have the finger on the stop button. The same as no one individual should have the finger on the nuclear button. You know, it's the same. The same for me. You know, no one's got the right to say when we should and when we shouldn't stop and start. So, yeah, that will be there. And I'd just like to thank all the crew for the amount of trust they've put in me as an individual over the last few weeks. And I hope I've lived up to that in keeping it running. So yeah, that's where we're at. Like I say, Dan, we haven't heard from him for a while. He's been quite busy, but he's there. He's getting that sorted, and that will be another step in Dark City's creation, I suppose, or evolution. We have had a donation. Again, we never mention who it's from, but we have had a donation from someone recently, and that's paid for the stream for the next 2 months, at least. Again, we will we'll turn it all over to Rick anyway. Where we have left over, we've said this over and over and over again. So, yeah, in another sense, the Rick Simpson's fund's now at like €150 or something. 125 euros rather than 50 euros. So, whichever way you want to look at that, thanks for that. It is really appreciated. I did get an email of somebody about my car insurance. It's really okay. I just put it on my credit card, so I'm going to need a vehicle for a while. So I've decided to do that. It's not really a big issue. Managed to do a bit of a blag. I didn't get the phone call today from the Automobile Association, who'd already agreed to pay me £38,000 for using my name. Lo and behold, they haven't actually rung me back with the billing address. So, yeah, I'm going to get on to them shortly again. I'll make a day of it, I think. And where I'll also get back onto Lloyd's TSB Bank, who still, to this day, have not refunded. Now, that's over a fortnight now. So I am actually now going to have to charge them interest on their outstanding loan. So that'll be a bit of fun. Looking at sorting out some stuff as well. We're going to do this Ashton allotment action, which has been advertised. It's being advertised by some people out there. Thank you very much for them people for actually advertising it. It's not an organised event, so literally turn up with what you need for the weekend. Just turn up with what you need. Let's have a happening. It's not an organised event, it's a happening. So shovels and spades if you just want to come up for the day, all that sort of, and just muck in and just meet people and get a feel for the place, get an ideology, I suppose, of what free land is, of common land. It is 750 metres at the moment, 1,750 metres, 750,000 square metres of land, maybe slightly more. I am not over-exaggerating that. that we have now freed up for the common people of England. And that means everyone can go. So over the 21st and is it 21st to the 23rd? I think it is. Everyone's invited. I mean, everyone. Whatever
It's the 21st.
It is the 21st to the 23rd. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome there. So it's going to be my holiday. I'm going to try and get a holiday. If I can find my mobile phone, I'll actually get credit on it, and then we can ring back in the station, and we'll do our best to get something live from up there. If not, we can do some recordings and let you know what's happening. So try and join in. So you can. But I mean, yeah, it's not organised, so get down there. Anyone who wants to, anyone who don't want to. Like I say, the only parameters we ask is that, just leave your bygones leave bygones, let bygones be bygones, leave the past behind you, and let's move along. Let's move along in as much creativity as we can. We have done it. And there's a word for the provocateurs that want to come and try and spoil these kind of events. You're fucking welcome. Because we really don't need it on either side, whether you're authority or not. It's just a matter of good people coming together and trying to create a better social well-being. I think that's what it's called, social well-being, is it? Social system, whatever you want to call it. It's up to you. So yeah, that's that. That's coming up in, what's that, in about 3 weeks or something, isn't it? It's about 3 weeks, which is on the solstice. On the solstice. If you do look at energy, as Sarah was talking about, you look at the Victorian Lay Hunter's Guide and things like this, prior to that, you look back, you can see where the architects built these, the churches and courts and libraries, and market grounds and so forth, to control these areas. It's pretty damned obvious. I mean, mind you saying that, it wasn't to me until it was pointed out. Well, this is a fundamental area, very little known about. They do actually suspect that part of the actual landscape here is actually man-made. Nobody's ever proved or disproved it. But again, it's the Eastern Line, I think it's called. I think it's the Eastern Line. Again, my memory on these things is not brilliant. But for the people who've already been onto this little bit of land, not all of them, but some of them, are very aware of what's there. Very aware. No, go away. Go away. We're on the radio. Go away. Why can't I turn this phone off? Go away. Thank you. That happened to Chris the other day, didn't it? Very persistent. So, if you do want to ring me up, the number is 0161 298 0298, or you can Skype us at Bob's Backyard. If you're outside the UK, you need the little prefix +44. If you haven't got a plus, it'll be 0044, followed by 161 298 0298. Right then. Anybody got anything to throw in into the mix this evening? If you have, please speak up. If not, I'm going to continue to talk about cheese.
I could probably say a couple things.
Barry. Oh, I thought you might.
I'm going to just carry on a little bit about what I was saying on your last show there about positive energy. And it seems to almost be a contagious disease that when you get it, it rubs off on other people. And I've seen things happen here in the last couple weeks that have put a lot of positive energies in me, and people are really feeling that off. And I like this movement that I got involved in. I'm just going to say a couple things to your listener that it's really made a difference in my whole perspective on life right now. And the energies that seem to be coming off doing this mission that I've now kind of taken in are incredible. And they just seem to be growing. I had a talk today with the school board in this area, and they've agreed to let Rick Simpson talk to the students. And I say to myself, people, what could be a better way to spread information like this, to get into the minds of a few of these young people, hit them with the hard facts, and let's see where it goes. This is the one thing I wanted to do when I arranged this trip for Rick to the north here, is to really reach out to the students. We've also rented the theater for the second night, and we're going to have a free talk to all students in the Terrace, Kitimat, and Prince Rupert areas. No charge. Come in and listen to Mr. Rick Simpson talk. And these energies I'm getting back even from the people in the school board, the reception is incredible, because there is a lot of knowledge going around about this now, and they've actually been approached before. And I went and got right in their faces this morning and reiterated 3 or 4 times that this is not an issue about smoking pot. This is an issue about exposing the hardcore facts of what the incredible cannabinoid does to the human body. And I really got their attention, and this is what I really wanted to do with Rick out here. We've already told him we're not going to make him talk more than 3 or 4 times. We're going to take him mushroom picking. We're going to take him out in the bush. We're going to go picking pine mushrooms, because the time that he gets here is going to be perfect for that. And he was all gung-ho for that. We got a camp set up in the bush. We're going to give him some gear. We're going to give him a GPS so he can't get lost. And going to take him out in the bush. And we're going to take him fishing and all kinds of other shit, but we're really looking forward to it. So, I'll just let somebody else talk for a minute, but just positive energies, boy. They're just a little bit of positive energy seems to bring back 10 times the amount. And you'll experience that when you really get into a hands-on experience. It's really incredible.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Barry. That was amazing, and it's lovely, because I can actually close my eyes and feel what you're saying. I can feel all the positive energy coming from you, and hear all the passion and the love in your voice as you're talking about what you're doing. And I'm not surprised that that's spreading and people are finding that contagious, because that's just beautiful. Well done, Barry. You're a doer, you are. I like doers.
You got to do. I mean, it's easy to sit back and look, man, but it really, once you start doing, man, it's contagious, because it has an effect on people. It's like I said, so easy to sit on the computer and listen to other people talk and go, yeah, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, we got to do that. But boy, when you start really getting involved and really start affecting people, it is a very, very contagious disease, and it's one of the best ones I think the human race could inherit right now. It is so necessary at this particular time in our history, so necessary. And what the possibilities of this one plant that I've really opened my eyes up and looked at in the last couple of months, it just boggles me. And now that I'm going to be able to get Rick exposed to some young minds, I really feel that we'll open some light bulbs and really get these kids thinking about what exactly is going on, and outline some of the details of the backgrounds. Of course, we're not going to be dropping any fear porn on them, but just kind of factual information that let their own minds think of and carry on from there. I think we'll have a major impact on the youth, and that's really when I was talking to Rick originally about coming out here and doing this gig, was the focus of my attention, because it's them that are going to be carrying the ball for us. Somebody else say something. I got to take a breath.
Right, I'm not. Go on, Sarah. Go on, Sarah. You're right.
I wasn't really going to say much anyway. I was just going to say that it's so true, and it does just show and demonstrates how doing and just getting off your ass and getting on and setting yourself these little goals and just heading and doing things that are going to be of service to the whole of humanity. It's just, and you can do it. You can do these things. Anyone can, and you're just a shining example, like loads of people are that we have on this radio, and loads of people who don't come onto the radio. People that do just do these little simple basic steps, and the feeling and the buzz that you get from it, the feeling and the buzz that other people get from it, and just seeing it just spread, and everyone, and when you're on about the cannabis movement, you're actually watching people's lives be saved. You can watch somebody who was dying of cancer all of a sudden become healthy and well again, and it's amazing, really. This world that we live in is amazing, and it's so full of so many amazing opportunities, and that's what we all need to focus on. We all need to focus on spreading these amazing things and learning from showing each other, I suppose, not learning really, but showing each other of what we are capable of. And yeah, it's just great seeing it. Thank you, everyone, and show you all my gratitude right now. Thank you for sharing all this.
One other thing I'll mention too is that I've already been talking to 3 of the real powerful native elders in this area, and actually I've sat down with 3 of them, had coffee, and had a real good heart-to-heart with them. And their native population up here is so sick. It's unbelievable. And, 200 years ago, their people were healthy, vibrant, strong individuals that lived off this land. And now they are I hate to say this, but the epitome of bad health. The percentages are incredible. And, I really reached out and said to them, what are we doing with our next generation? What have we brought into this culture of yours, and how destructive is it to your people? And, you really start to touch people when you approach them like this. You get kind of, a heart response from them, and I really kind of hit some notes with them, and they're looking forward to listening to Mr. Simpson talk. They've all taken links, and they've all actually, a couple of them have emailed me back, and I'm getting communication with the native population, and they really, really need to be helped. And this here would be such a unbelievable financial opportunity for him. Not just with the medical man, but everything else that can be done with him. It blows your mind. And if they can open up their eyes and see this, and they grab that ball and start running, then we really will make an impact on our community and the rest of the world. And it just takes a little bit of effort. Go talk to people heart to heart. Go say, hey man, listen, this ain't bullshit. This ain't going behind fucking A&W and saying, hey, I think there's something to this. This is real hard, relentless facts that are coming out day after day, and it really needs our attention. And we all get involved in this. It's just, I talked to Rick for about an hour this morning on Skype, and it was a tremendous to talk to the man. We threw some ideas around, and it was just an incredible conversation. So anyways, I'll let somebody else say a couple things here.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a few of the things that you just brought up there, Barry. When I was in Australia, I saw similar things with the Aboriginal communities, and it all sort of really made me think. If you look at our culture, the European culture, and you look at where we come from and what we've been through as a race and as a culture within ourselves, and the knowledge that we can pass on to these other communities who are now going through what we went through thousands and thousands of how many years ago, because I'm not really onto history, not very good at numbers and dates and things, but we was all living more of a pagan lifestyle. We was living lives like what they are living not so long ago. In Australia, for some of the Aboriginals, they hadn't seen white man till 1960s, and in the Amazon, some haven't seen some till even more recent. And this is what we all went through. We all worshipped the earth, not necessarily worshipped it, but lived off the earth, and we all lived more in tune. We was at one, and we knew all this, like what they did. We did have all this culture ourselves, and we've gone through it, and they're in a much more infancy stage of what we've already been through. And that's why our culture is the way that it is, and people are so lost. And that is exactly what's happening to their cultures, some more recently than others. And I really do think it helps if you actually explain that to different cultures, that we've also been there, we're also been through that, we've also been detached from our natural way of being. I find when you look at it like that, it breaks down a lot of the barriers that can be up there, and the resentment and the hate. If we all just look and realise that we've all been in the same boat, we've all had our culture ripped up and taken away, and our way of living.
Well, Kelly, I'll say one other thing, Sarah. What happened is, when I had this conversation with you gentlemen, I find this is a really good way to approach people. Is I brought hard, cold facts about our medical expenditures, the population, what the percentage of their population is for this country up here, the percentage of what the gross expenditure for our healthcare system for this area is, and what percentage they represent. and also what percentage of the diabetes they represent in this country. And I put this, I don't know if these guys had ever heard this before. I just got, they just kind of sat back at me and looked like, and I'm saying, buddy, this ain't BS. This all can be backed up by fact, and I've looked at it. And then I say to them, like, you look at your culture 200 years ago, and you were just unbelievably strong, vibrant people living off the land. So what have we done in the last 56 years? We've really regressed, my friend. Anybody can tell me we've progressed? I say bunk on that, man. I say we've regressed. We've attacked our planet. We're doing everything that we can to destroy our environment instead of going the opposite direction. And boy, with this miraculous herb that I've really taken an interest in, it seems to have a tremendous amount of answers for all these problems. I feel like we could actually stop the problems and heal the earth from the inside out. And that's what we really got to do, because we got to live on this planet, I think, for a few more years. I don't know where anybody else is going to go.
People have become detached from where they're from, aren't they? They're surrounded by plastic, concrete, things that aren't even real. Like, when was the last time somebody took off their shoes and socks and stood on something wild, some just earth, ground? When was the last time anyone did that?
It's a tremendous experience. I mean, every time I go in the bush every year, it's like my soul just goes to another place. It's so peaceful and so laid back, and you're there in the wilderness. And if you haven't experienced that in your life, anybody has, and I urge you to go and get a GPS so you don't get lost and go wandering in the bush, man, because it will revive your soul. That's for sure.
Yeah, and people don't realise about it because it seems so far away from a lot of people that live in cities and towns. The countryside or the sea or something's not something that affects their daily life, and people have just got into this sort of mindset or way of being that as long as they are keeping their heads above water, they're feeding their families, they've got clothes on their backs, and they're in jobs that they're all right with, they don't tend to actually bother with anything else, really. It's quite a sad thing, really, to see that there's so many people that are just work, go home, watch the telly, and just plod on their normal everyday life without actually thinking, what can I do? How can I make a difference? What solutions can I bring forward in the world? How can I make this a better place? And a lot of people don't think like that, and a lot of people don't think about the reality of what actually does go on behind all these closed governmental doors or corporate doors. A lot of people don't have an interest in that as long as their life is running smoothly.
Yeah, that could be a 2-hour conversation, Sarah, because it's a Pandora box of questions. But it's like we live in a zombified state where I ask people about your conscience. I think it's a lot to do with your conscience. I'm very conscious of everything that's going on, and it makes me in my own self compelled to try and do what I can to influence anybody about anything that good can be done on this planet and information. I don't know if that sounds like a bumble jumble, but I find myself now just compelled to talk to people, especially about the information I've learned about this plant in the last 3-4 months of my life. It will grab you. It will, once you see the results, and it will grab you. And that's what I really urge, because I think that's a solution to a lot of the problems, Sarah. I really do.
I think people just think that they can't make a difference, that there's nothing that they can actually do that can make a difference. And it's like you're saying, though, even just having simple conversations with people and raising the vibration and raising the knowledge and stuff of things means that certain things are no longer able to occur. I notice personally within myself, when I raise my vibration, when I clear and do these clearings or move forward and raise my vibrations, things fall away because they can no longer be sustained in that vibration.
Yeah, it seems like, but especially right now, there seems to be a real high interest in this particular subject because of information that's coming out now. So the timing that approaching people about the benefits and the possibilities, not just the medical but the other possibilities with the plant, are really, if you look at them, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've done spot research on all kinds of stuff, and it just boggles your mind. It really does. And now that I'm getting a little bit more involved, I'm getting approached by experts and other ideas. And man, it seems like just an inflow of information comes around you when you start looking into this. Things that we're getting involved up here, man. It's very, very cool. That's all I can say. I don't have enough time to tell you about it all, but there's some really neat stuff happening, and it's really good vibrations. So if you get involved in stuff like that, not necessarily this thing, but anything that we can do to help the fellow man buck the system, is a good thing. Is a good thing.
And there's so many people like you, like us out there that are actually out there doing things. There are so many good people that are making such a massive difference in this world. And the people seem to think that it's getting worse. And I'm like, no, it's not getting worse. It's getting better. I tell you, it is getting better. There's so many people out there trying their best, well, not trying, actually doing things, getting out there in their communities, making sure everyone's all right, making sure anyone that needs assistance has it, looking after themselves, looking after each other, stopping something being built somewhere, or stopping a road here, or stopping this or that, and promoting the cannabis movement. How many hundreds of people, thousands of people have probably heard about the cannabis movement? How many people do you think Rick Simpson's told? And how many people have they had lives has he himself saved? Just that one person from just getting up and doing what they believed in and what made them feel good and what made them feel positive and satisfied in life. It's about finding what your particular role and your particular goal is at this particular time.
Yeah.
And playing that role.
Oh, I feel I'm doing the same thing. It's just like, if the wave gets so big they can't stop it, man. They can't stop it. Visualizes everybody, and I mean, maybe this is kind of a weird thought, but if everybody in the UK and everybody around the world all of a sudden approached your doctors and says, hey, we want medical marijuana, period. No questions if, but, whens, where's about it. What would happen? What would happen? And everybody approached every politician in the world and said, hey, we want this. What would happen? They would have to eventually listen to the mass. So, the more people we wake, the more people we actually, I feel, touch the conscience of these people and get them looking at I'm 58 now and I haven't got a lot of years left on this planet, but, I really think about what's coming in the future for our next generations and the legacy we're leaving. And, we've all done in the past before, some of us got enlightened or informed about what's going on this planet. We did a lot of damage, but now I want to see what I can do with the years left I got in my life to try and turn the tide. And I don't know if that sounds kind of strange, but it's just the way I feel, because if we don't do that, then there is going to be a lot of bad shit come down on this planet, and I don't like it. I don't want to see that happening for my grandchildren and other people's children and the people around this world. Man, it's not what we deserve. So, anyways, just a few of my thoughts.
No, none of us deserve that. None of us deserve bad. None of us deserve to live in a polluted planet that's getting ripped apart for the oil or for the iron ore or whatever else might be the case. And we all deserve to live in a world where we all feel free to get up and do something about it and to say, no, look, we don't want this anymore. We want a different way to live. And I think, the more people that do it, the better. And just it's gonna change. It is changing. There's no two ways about it, and it's not getting worse.
It's getting better, Sarah.
It is. I can feel it.
It is. So can I. I can really actually, feel that change coming, especially in people's thoughts and the way they're starting to see things now. And I can see it coming. And the more we all work at it, the faster it'll come. And I'm doing what I can do. And if everybody does a little bit, it'll come a lot faster. I try and use my imagination every day to see, to think of new things. And if we get our minds away from the negatives, man, like I said earlier, I have been pooped on my life many times by people, but I kind of really honestly, I don't want to dwell on that because it's so destructive. And if you take your energies and focus it in positive things instead of the destructive shit in the past and try and be positive, it seems to be having an effect in my life. And maybe it'll have the same effect on other people's lives. I don't know, but that's coming from my heart, and it's kind of cool. So get involved in something, man, anything at all to make a change, and the positives will come back to you.
I am the change.
We are the change.
Change is inevitable. It's the only constant we can be certain of, isn't it?
I reckon.
Right, so can we try I am not the change?
I am not the change.
I am not going to change. I'm not going.
I'm going to stay the same.
I can't breathe anymore. It's not working. No, yes, I definitely have to change. It just seemed fundamental to my presence here. Change. I wonder if eventually we end up doing the correct things for everyone. Eventually, just as a matter of course. Maybe we have to do everything wrong. We have to mess everything up before we can get it right. I don't really do right and wrong, personally.
Hello.
But it would appear that we have got to, we've got to kind of. Somebody said to me a while ago, a sin is a lesson that has not been learnt. Once you have learnt the lesson, then it's no longer a sin. And that would fit in with what you've been saying, Sarah, regarding releasing the stuff and letting things go. Once you've kind of let go of that and you're not beating anybody else up or yourself for it, then makes it a lot easier. I totally agree with you, Barry, regarding getting a positive mental attitude and a good place to start from. Well, perhaps, we don't always get a good place to start from, but having that positive mental attitude gives you a good platform to start from. When you set off in the morning, really, just taking them few moments for yourself. So, yeah, it's I think it's pretty fundamental. It's alright us keep saying we've got to do things different. We can't keep repeating what we've done and expecting a different outcome. And I'm right with that. But we have to be prepared, don't we? We have to be prepared. And we don't know what it is that we're going to be prepared for. We don't actually know. I'm pretty certain. Well, no, I'm not certain. I'm positive. I'm 100% positive there is nothing to fear. Nothing at all. I know for some people, and I know for myself sometimes, it's looked really bad. Really bad. And I know some people in other lands who have got it a hell of a lot worse than the likes of us lot. When you're there and you're in it, it's difficult to say, but yeah. So, constructive, creative focus of energy. What does it mean? Well, construct, what is it? What are we actually doing? Building something, you know what I mean? What have we all done? Become architects and engineers all of a sudden? What are we constructing? We've joked about it a few times, the mythical walls of the city. Obviously, we're on the internet. There is no real city, so to speak. There are no real walls. But most of us have built walls around us. We've built ourselves a cell. Yeah, it's got a window with bars on it. It's got a door. For most of us, the door's unlocked. In fact, I suggest that if you've been pushing that door, pull it. And if you've been pulling that door, push it. All the keys are in the locks and all the doors are now open. Try it. There are no sacred secrets to be found. The organisations that were secret have been uncovered. We can't say they're having a secret meeting somewhere if we all know they're having a meeting. It's not exactly a secret, is it? If you can go outside and fucking demonstrate. Oh, them people are in there having a secret meeting. It's like finding the lost city of Atlantis. You can't find it. It's lost. It'd be called the Found City then, wouldn't it? So, yeah. Constructive, creative, constructive. Well, look, I'm not an engineer. Well, I am an engineer, but I was. I'm not an architect, you know. But I'll tell you something. If you build a building on a good, solid foundation, you know, good land, good solid ground, and you build a good base to your house, then, you know, you've got something good to build upon. Something strong.
Exactly. Can I add something there?
Get in there, man. Get in.
Yeah. You know, well, okay. Let's talk about base of a building. You know, when I was raised as a child, just a couple comments I'd like to make on the base of a building. As I was born as a child, I was born in an era that the best shows on TV were the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, all kinds of good, wholesome shows. But what we see now is the exact opposite. Everything we see now is demonizing what I knew was good when I was a child, and the opposite for what I think it was bad. And I just want to mention that my foundation as a child was born on a very moralistic, strong foundation. What I considered was a good moral foundation. But what I see today's world is foundation and our youth being built on very, very evil foundations. And that's something that I find very disturbing, and it's very, very prevalent. I ask myself, what kind of children are these people going to be when they grow up and they are the people that are going to be running our societies and making our decisions? And what kind of influences are these, what I call bad influences in TV and medical, in music entertainment and stuff like that? What effect is that having on the youth, and what kind of people are these going to be in the future? Just a couple of comments I wanted to say about foundations. Because if you want to bring down a building, man, all you got to do is take out the foundation. Just a little thought. I won't say any more today. I got carried away there for a second on a thought, okay? Just had to babble on about it for a minute.
Well, it's true about foundations. So that's what everything's built upon, isn't it? You know, if you've got bad foundations, then you've got the bad whatever's built on top of it. That's why it's really important, isn't it, to sort out your foundations.
Yeah, you know, Sarah, if you want to bring down, just a simple thought. If you want to bring down a society, where would you attack the society? You would attack it at the base of your youth. You would bring down the youth of your society, and eventually that will bring down the society. And that is really what I kind of see happening, because, like I said, as a child, I was brought up with very, very moralistic, family-oriented, family-based, strong, not religious, but real strong moral values portrayed to us as children in the media and everything we saw. Everywhere we go, it was family, family, family. And what I see now is just destruction of the family. And then I look at the influences coming through the children and what they're being brought up and what they're seeing at very, very young ages. To me, this is one of the most disturbing things that I see in my life. And that's just a thought I'd like to share with your viewers. Comments? Anybody?
I'll always throw something in, Barry. Keep the flow going.
Yeah, it's an open show, and sometimes I get thoughts, and I just like to share them with you guys, because it's stuff that I've seen it, because I've gone through a couple generations in my life, and sure, we went through the early drug eras, and I was actually at Woodstock when I was 14 years old, and but back then it was different. But what I've seen that really, really disturbs me is what I've seen develop in the music and the entertainment industry and the gaming industries in the last 10 or 11 years especially is really disturbing. And I look at the trouble in our youth and the paradoxes I see. To me, they're undeniable, and it's just something I like people to kind of consider. What kind of foundation we're laying down for the youth in this planet and what they're being exposed to. And to me, that is a very, very disturbing thing. And
it is a lot of it is very desensitizing, isn't it? You know, if I go through a stage of watching a lot of TV, which I don't, but if I do, when I used to watch a bit more TV, the violence on TV, it never used to really, depending on how graphic it was, it wouldn't bother me too much. But I've always been a bit queasy around violence, to be totally honest. So I've never liked it, never liked people fighting or anything like that. I always try and stop it if I see it. But like, I'm watching telly. If I watch a lot of telly with a lot of violence in it, I'm kind of desensitized from it, and I don't really take it on board or take any notice of it. But then if I put a TV on or see any violence after not watching TV for ages or seeing any for ages and ages, it's so much more hard knocking. And I'm not really somebody that watches violence on telly or watches violent films or anything like that. But if you're constantly exposed to violence and these violent games and video games, well, I think it does desensitize you to it. It makes it seem unreal as well. It makes it seem like it's not something that's really happening. It takes away the reality of what violence actually is like and the aftermath of patching yourself up after being violently attacked or losing a limb, or it's not real anymore. Nothing seems to be real. Not even food's real anymore. So it's quite bizarre, really. Oh, look, Dave wants to say something. Go on, Dave.
Hi, I didn't expect to be on that quick there. Yeah, I just wanted to add a bit on that. My youngest son's 15 and just going on the computer game type of thing. I joined him in the local glider club, so he's learning to fly. And the other weekend on the Saturday, I phoned him up. I said, "Do you want me to come and collect you to take you to the glider club?" And he said, "Oh, no, I'm busy today. I don't want to go." So I called at the house anyway just to see what he was doing. He was actually sat in the living room on a computer game flying a plane. It just makes no sense. He could have been out actually doing the actual thing, and instead he'd rather sit in the house playing a game of it, So just thought I'd add that in.
Yeah, look at the paradoxes, man. We're the most unhealthy children in the world. It's almost to a point now where our children are expected to die before we. And then that's never happened in history before. I mean, we have a generation of obese children that aren't getting out and doing the exercises. Well, when I was a kid, boy, I was out day after day. You couldn't get me in the house. We were out chasing snakes and chasing this or playing cowboys and Indians, man. We were outside all the time. And I grew up with a very, very healthy body and a healthy core. I look at today's generations, and okay, I'll butt out.
I've only got a quick one, Barry. It's just I thought it might be only fair to inform you that I've been sat here now for the last 4 months on my computer playing at radio.
Well, I get a lot of time on it too. Okay, no. I'll say just observations of society. We all know what the state of our youth, and these games. I mean, that's all they want to do. They want to sit there and play games, and it's disturbing. And
it's coming down to that thing again, though, isn't it? Of people not actually doing things, isn't it? Like Dave was saying, playing on the computer game, flying rather than actually going flying. It's people are just lazy these days compared to what it used to be like. If you sat in your house, wasn't you? And there wasn't really much in there apart from a radio with a few radio channels. When it was back like that, and people used to have to be out. Well, you don't have to be out. I think there's a lot of fear of being out as well now, though, isn't there? There's all that whole thing about murderers, kids being murdered and run over, and this, that, and the other. And they're kept in, and
it's being programmed.
But I was always out as a kid, even when I lived more when I used to live in Ireland. When I lived in Ireland as a kid, there was a field on one end of the road, and there was a big field on the other end of the road, just going into countryside and off into parks and stuff. And you used to have a good time over there. And then when I moved to England, there was more streets that we was just playing, but we was always out in the streets. And we might have started smoking and drinking a bit early, but. Most kids, that doesn't mean all kids do that. A lot of people that I speak to, their kids don't necessarily do that. I know now of parents that go out and buy their kids drink at 14. How old, Yeah. They'd rather them do it when they're there, but I just think they do. I think they need to just be out and about. Football's a good one for that, though. Lots of kids play football in England.
Yeah, anything to get you outside and get you active is great for a child. But I mean, so many. I go over to people's houses and their kids are just inside all the time playing games. And we got to kind of ask ourselves too. We're responsible for this in a lot of ways because we allow it to happen. Where it's so unhealthy for the children, and people are just. I made my kids when I raised my own kids. I had them on activities all the time. And I just kind of urge people to get their children a little bit more physically involved in stuff, because it's so easy just to sit back and let the computer entertain them, And I see that so much. And then, the other day I was over at my buddy's house, and the 7-year-old boy's playing this game on their video game, and it's called Slaughtering Zombies. And these kids are just slacking people, hacking, and I was appalled. I really was. I was going, 7-year-old children watching this kind of crap and playing this. This is what you allow them to do. I mean, it is a major desensitization. Sarah, is a major issue, because it does. It totally desensitizes them to anything that is good. And blood and guts are put into their brains at a very early time in their lives, and to me that just can't be a good thing. Just can't be a good thing.
It desensitizes them from doing anything as well. It's not just that they find violence more acceptable or whatever, but it desensitizes them from living a life, from actually going out there and experiencing these real experiences. They're sat in front of a computer playing other ones, or watching somebody else's imagination out on a TV. You need to get out and about, don't you, and develop yourself as a human being, and find out what it is in life that you do enjoy doing. I love being fit and healthy and stretching and feeling flexible and moving around. I love it. And if I don't do it for a little while, I really notice that I can't stretch half as bad, and I hate it. I love it. I love feeling fit, healthy. Yeah, not sitting down, sitting around all the time. And I don't like not being in the sun. I love the sun. The sun's amazing. It's beautiful.
It's amazing, Sarah, when you take a child that isn't doing healthy activities and start getting them into a healthy activity, their whole aspect on life changes. Look at their health is down, obesity is up, they sit around, and then we look at the percentages of suicides, how many children are being put on antidepressants early in their life, and what the effects are, and all these random shootings, and these have really multiplied. And I look at all these paradoxes, and I study them, and I go, holy smokes, it is all wrong. It really has to change people's thinking about how they raise their children.
Suicide is one of the biggest killers of men in Britain, from 30 to 40 or something like that. It's one of the biggest killers of men.
Yep. And also the biggest killer in the U.S. military now.
Yeah.
So they're all getting Prozacs and all these other antidepressants, and they're giving them out like candy. Why? Because these gentlemen are being exposed to stuff that would shock anybody and has to reach the conscience of any human being. And you look at it all and you just go, wow, what the heck is going on there?
Well, how many people do they have to kill and things like that? And it can't feel good, can it? Over what as well? Oh, I don't think anyone could give me a reason to kill somebody else bar self-defense. I can't think of any reason why you should want to kill anyone. And I'm not really. I just think I'm not interested, because it's just bullshit. There's no reason. There's no excuse for killing people, thousands of people, hundreds of people, or one person. You know what I mean? Get a grip.
How can hell these bastards kill these children, man? Where is their conscience? What evil bastards. That's all I can say. Kill a child, man. Kill 100 child. Fuck. It works me to the core.
Yeah, it would do. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I was doing something like that. That's why I would never do it. Well, it's not the only reason why I'd never do it, but obviously I wouldn't do it. It's just, you couldn't tell me to push a button that was going to kill kids. Or blow up a village, or no, I wouldn't do it. Or kill somebody, no.
Well, sir, if you told me years ago these people didn't exist.
If you do it, then you're going to feel like shit, aren't you? No wonder they've got a high suicide rate. Oh, well.
Okay. But if you told me years ago these people existed, I would have told you you're on drugs, man. But unfortunately, they do exist, and it's a sad state of affairs. I just myself, I love children to death. I love my human being to death, and it reached me to the core. I just don't understand it, but they're there, and we have to deal with them, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sad. Anyways, I'll let somebody else make some comments. I've been talking too much today. Somebody else say something.
That was the Darkcity show, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 4 minutes to go. If you'd just like to chip in before the end of the show, there you go. Is that all right? Can I say that? It's about 4.
Big hugs all around. I think.
Go on, Prize.
I'd like to say a great big thank you
to Barry and Sarah for taking the most of that show and running with it, and it's been fantastic just to sit back and chill out and enjoy it. So thank you very much, guys.
No worries, I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, everyone else.
I love talking with you guys all the time. If you want to listen to me ramble on, no problem. I'll come on and ramble on. Great being on the show again, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, he's great, isn't he? Our friend from Canada, Barry. We love you, Barry.
We love you, Barry.
I love you guys too. No, hey, I do. I really enjoy coming on because you really given me a kind of a new light in this world. So.
And what happened to Donald Duck, though?
Say what? Who know what?
You didn't do Donald Duck.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Say it again. Oh, my Donald Duck. Well, okay, if you want to hear my Donald Duck, what do you want me to say? Let's have a conversation. There's another Donald Duck out there. Didn't I hear another one? Let's hear your Donald Duck. Come on.
Can't do it now.
No. Okay, there you go. My Donald Duck. When I was a really young boy, and when I was about 18, I could fucking people going, "Hey Barry, go to Hollywood." I got lots of people laughing in my life earlier with that, and I haven't done that in a long, long time, guys. But today there was Donald Duck on the TV here, and all of a sudden I was doing Donald Duck, and I think I did it once when my boy was growing up, or a couple times, but haven't done it honestly in a lot of years. Like I wouldn't say 20, but quite a few, and got them rolling off the chair today, so it was pretty cool. Made their day. But I'll come on sometime and be Donald Duck, but you'll have to ask questions and have to be really short form because my vocabulary is very limited. Hello?
That makes a change, doesn't it, Barry?
You do realise you've just destroyed the magic for all the listeners. Now they know it's going to be you doing Donald Duck, don't you, Barry? You're not actually supposed to.
Shit. I know. I just realised I let the rabbit out of the hat.
This is why you know we're all right with you, Barry, because you just let the cat out of the bag, don't you, mate? You couldn't be dishonest. You couldn't be. You couldn't. You know, it's just like, whoop. It's like I say to everybody, don't tell me any secrets. If you want to keep it secret, don't tell me. I'm rubbish at secrets. I really am.
It has woken his parrot up, though.
That's good. Anyway, folks, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, that is the end of the Dark City. We have a few seconds left. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to all the crew, especially to Barry, Sarah, Saduma for watching over the service today. Callie and Prisoner, as always. Joe Black and Dave for joining us, and Dan, who's there in the background, and our Stephen, trying to set up these other servers. So, I love you loads, and that's it. We are done, and it's over.